And we are live.
Yeah.
Live with the Dueling Mocks, Risky and Peter.
Peter.
I got gum on my palm. I gotta get rid of the gum.
Oh, the goat house is live. Wow.
I don't know if I made that or not. I got the nice goat house tee. It's a little see-through because of the green screen, so I think it looks better though. I like
Looks
it
pretty
that way.
sweet.
Yeah, I think it looks better that way.
I got the boys for the boys shirt.
I need a mic check. Somebody in the chat let us know if the mics are good. Didn't get the chance to test it. I can see
Check.
It looks like it should be good though. I didn't get the chance to check it because we were running a little late. So, anybody let us know if it sounds too loud, too quiet, something going on. We much appreciate it.
Does Bo over here know something? Does he just know something already?
About what?
Said whoever has the Bengals draft and Haskins wins.
Does one of us have Haskins? I don't know.
I don't know.
Likes are good. Thank you, Fraser. JM, you too. Couple guys. Turn it up. I said turn it up a bit. Too quiet. Riz, you're low.
What about me? Am I low?
All right, so we can turn it up. And how's that? A little better, hopefully? Hopefully a little better. I'll try to speak up. I can turn up one more notch, but that'll be max. You know, max is not always good, but... Yeah, before we get started, we can... Well, Pete, you want to duck? Actually, well, behind Pete, I'm pretty sure you guys seen this graphic. Behind Pete, it tells you that we will be live right here, April 25th at, there we go, 6:30 p.m. Central. So the draft on April 25th starts at 7. We're going to be live 30 minutes before, and then they're saying I'm low. I'm much quieter. Why am I much quieter? I'll try to solve the issue real quick. We're going to be live during the draft, basically.
Okay.
Going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of fun. Keep you posted on that.
Yes, it's just the first round.
For live.
Yeah.
We will most... Day
Oh,
two.
no.
Day
Actually, I
two?
don't know if he's talking about... I don't know if he's talking about today or if he's talking about the actual draft.
This is just first round, yeah. Let me try to fix this mic here.
They said it sounds like you're coming through my mic.
Interesting. It's because I am. I'll fix it in a second. Let him know. Let him know that I'll fix it.
He'll fix it. Trying to read some of these comments here.
All right, we're good. I think we're good. Sorry about that. We were running a little late. Didn't get the chance to fix that. So I might be too loud now. Oh.
Falcons are the biggest sleepers next season. I like that. Except we gotta wait and see what happens.
Okay, we're good. We're good to go. Appreciate you guys helping us out on that. Didn't know what was going on. This mock does not include trades because we both just made a mock. I'm going to have an updated mock with trades. I'm already starting to think of some. So updated mock with trades a little closer to the draft. I know we're pretty close as it is, but we're going to get there. And I'm going to have a whole video just based on trade scenarios, even if I think there's slight possibility. What trades can happen, exact details, and then which players would be involved in that trade. So, yeah, should be a lot of fun. Still got position rankings to get through. And, yeah, any questions before we get started, or should we get started with this? Basically, with this, me and Pete both made mock drafts, predict the pick mock drafts. And I seen Pete's already because I had to make the graphics for it, which I think I did a good job in the graphics, by the way. Really,
I didn't even see the graphics, so we'll see.
So, yeah, Pete doesn't know what I have. I didn't really pay attention what he had. I didn't really, examine it. Kind of just made the graphics. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, couple questions I want to answer maybe. Ronnie Anderson is still
How's your day been?
Thanks for asking. My day has been good. It's been pretty good. Pretty much on my computer all day doing stuff that has to do with the channel. So that's pretty much what I got going on. Appreciate you asking.
He's older.
I'm older. I'm 27. What are you?
25.
25. All right. Ronnie Anderson I was talking about. Yeah, I like Ronnie Anderson if he wasn't, didn't have 3 serious injuries. I talked about him in my running back rankings. He's very good, top 3 running back, but because of the injuries, I get a little scared, so I dropped him down. How do you feel about the Chris Hogan signing? Panthers. So they needed somebody like that, so I think it's a solid pickup. I agree with the Giants drafting Saquon last year instead of a quarterback. Yes, it was pretty much Saquon or Darnold. I'm not really a huge fan of Darnold. He's got good potential, but I definitely, you don't pass up on Barkley. Look at the running back class this year. It's pretty deep, but there's nowhere close to Saquon Barkley. We'll find out what I got going with the Falcons. Both of us going for the Falcons pick in a little bit. What's 6 plus 6? It's 12.
Oh.
Who's your favorite team? Mine is the Vikings. His is the Titans. We also have 2 other guys on the channel, Junior and Danny. They're both big Bears fans. So I got the Vikings fan here. Gets a little intense sometimes, but it's good entertainment. Good entertainment. How many sacks does Von Miller have? I was going to answer only draft questions, but he's definitely going to have double digits. With Vic Fangio in there, does he get over 15 sacks?
So.
I think he might. Biggest boom or bust prospect? That's a real draft question. Biggest boom or bust prospect?
DK Metcalf.
That's probably the obvious one. Maybe I will go a not so obvious one. You can go with a couple. Rashawn Gary's one. Greedy Williams another one. Greedy Williams, a lot of potential. His technique, I talk about him all the time. His technique, it really isn't there. He needs some work on that, but he's a playmaker already. So I think he's boom or bust. Anybody in this draft you would give up 2 or more to trade up for? If I was the GM, I would not. I kind of value having multiple draft picks because you have a better chance of hitting on guys later. I mean, I really, really like a lot of the defensive players at the top, like Quinnen Williams. So I would consider it, but I'm not a fan of giving a bunch of picks. So teams that, GMs that aren't afraid to trade picks to get up and get a guy, if they're worth it, I think there's a couple of those guys in this draft. We'll go over some trade scenarios in the future.
So much stuff going on.
So many questions. Yeah, we're going to do a Q&A, at least one more Q&A before the draft, and we'll be live during the draft 30 minutes before to answer questions. I saw something about...
Someone wants to know who your number 1 safety is.
My number 1 safety is Taylor Rapp. I'm a little scared because that 40, but it's 1 40-yard dash from his pro day. He has instincts. He's all over the place, can play free safety, can play in the box. It's really, I don't have to think too much about it. I'm very confident in Taylor Rapp being my number 1 safety. Does that mean I think he goes first round? That's a different debate. We'll kind of get to there on the predict the pick. Who's your number 1 safety?
Probably Rapp too. Someone asked Fant or Hawkinson. Definitely Hawkinson for me.
Brian Burns is slept on. I think he is because there's those people that are like he's a little undersized. So, and I think they overreact because of that. So we're gonna see if the NFL undervalues him. We now have memberships. I put a link in the comments a little bit ago, and our first member, Shark Boy 200. That's our first member. So basically, I think it's $4.99 a month, and you get special badges and emojis. It's just something we're able to do now that we have more subscribers. So I appreciate Shark Boy 200 for that. You can look into that a little more, what you get with that. We're going to do basically a special members-only video, at least one each month, possibly bring skits back for that. Again, you get badges and emojis for that. So I really appreciate you. Should we move on to somebody said start. Do I still have that's the membership link. I put it in there again. But let's begin here with our mocks. That's what we're here for. All right, so there's the first rule, Pete, is stay on your side, okay? You have to stay on your side. That's Pete's side. This is my side.
My side.
But it doesn't really matter for the first 4 picks because...
I think my first 4 are better.
But they're the same. They're the same exact first 4. Don't put your chair on my side. You see that blue? Stay on your side there. All right, so we can go... pick by pick here.
Would you look at that?
So we're going to go 4 at a time here. So for pick 1, I went with Kyler Murray, the quarterback from Oklahoma, because I think it happens. It's a predict the pick. And that's what I think happens. It makes sense. I've went over this plenty of times. People probably want to hear. People are probably tired of hearing my voice about this, but so maybe we can get Pete's point of view here. But I just think it happens. He fits Kingsbury's offense. He's got one shot at an NFL coaching job. That's why I think he does it. Does Rosen get traded? That's good. You would think they have to trade him. I think they're kind of getting lowballed right now. I think they're gonna wait and see wait until it kind of raises up. They're not just going to give him away, and that's smart. Go ahead, Pete. Why do you have Kyler Murray 1?
Yeah, I'm just buying into.
And we're just doing one round for this.
Buying into what everyone else is saying. Yeah, I kind of agree with what you already said. And like, it was kind of funny. I think it was at the combine. They asked the Cardinals GM like about Rosen. He's like, yeah, he's our quarterback right now. He had to like add right now in there just because like, something's gonna happen. Like they're trying to find again. I think they're getting lowballed. They're gonna try and find the right partner for them. But yeah, I think they wait. I think they wait till like maybe the draft to trade Rosen. Maybe the price will go up. As some teams still need quarterbacks. I think they'll take Rosen over some of the guys in the draft, but we'll see. But yeah, I think he just fits the offense a lot better than Rosen, what Kingsbury wants. So.
I know Raphael down there. I always see him in the comments section. He's a big Cardinals fan, I assume, and he doesn't agree with the Kyler Murray pick. And again, I did my, I think you saw it too. I saw you in the comments on that one, my GM mock where I did what I would do, and I went Quinnen Williams. So, I can't really go in depth on why I would do this because I wouldn't, but I understand it because I keep going back to the Kingsbury thing. It's his one shot, and what's the most important position? It's quarterback. It's the game changer. Kyler Murray is a game changer. Rosen can be good. I'm a believer in Rosen, but is he going to go lead them in the playoffs this year? The Cardinals really aren't built for the playoffs unless they have a wild card, a guy that's a game changer, a guy that's hard to game plan against. That's Kyler Murray, so I understand it. And it's the only thing that it's kind of hard to believe on this is really Kingsbury. They just hired Kingsbury, and he's taken over. Like the GM's letting him take over. That's why it's so hard to believe. So I guess, yes.
It's funny. What was that? Was that this week that Kyler had a second visit with the Cardinals and he brought his agent with? It was kind of funny. It was like, what are they negotiating contracts already or something? It's just don't know why the agent's there, but it's just kind of funny to think about.
Yeah.
We gonna move on here.
Yeah, 2. I got Nick Bosa, defensive end, Ohio State. I'm kind of firm on this one, but Kyler Murray has to go 1 really, because Nick Bosa could go 1. But if Nick Bosa's here at 2, that's the pick. I talked about how they're supposed to run that Leo defense. D Ford stepping off the ball. On the opposite side, they need a true 4-3 defensive end. Nick Bosa is a true 4-3 defensive end. Good twitch, good first burst off the ball, great hand usage, very strong. And for his size, he's pretty athletic. He's not as athletic as some of the other pass rushers. Maybe we'll talk about it in a little bit, but pretty darn athletic for his size. He's a safe pick. Like he's gonna be. Well, I guess you can argue that because he was hurt. Played 3 games, but
someone asked, "What's Leo?"
Leo is the Chargers are known for it. Gus Bradley, really. Dan Quinn kind of ran it with the Seahawks too, and he kind of still does it. Vic Beasley has off the ball, but it's basically it's like a linebacker and an end. It's a mixture of a 4-3 and a 3-4. So if 3-4, there's 2 outside linebackers that are off the ball rushing the quarterback, and a 4-3, there's 2 defensive ends on the line on the ball rushing the passer. So then with the Leo, you have the example would be the Chargers. They do a great job with it. Joey Bosa, not Nick Bosa. That's why it's interesting. Joey Bosa is the 4-3 defensive on one side. Melvin Ingram, if you ever watch Melvin Ingram and the Chargers, he's the Leo. He's the Leo position. He is what makes it unique. He's off the ball in a traditional 4-3. He pretty much does what he wants. He goes off the ball, he's on the ball, he slides inside. That's why Melvin Ingram is a very, very valuable player. So it's an interesting defense, but it's really not that much different than.
So you're saying Nick Bosa is going to be the Leo?
Nick Bosa is going to be the Joey Bosa.
Okay.
D Ford's going to be the Melvin. D Ford's going to be the Leo, the Melvin Ingram.
Yeah.
Which I would run that defense because then you don't have to worry about. Well, we like Nick Bosa, but we run a 3-4, so we can't take him. It's kind of weird. So. That's not the case for the Niners. And I hope the Niners would slide Solomon Thomas inside. But you go ahead on your Nick Bosa.
You kind of covered
I kind of hit it there.
Yeah, I think, I was trying to make the point there that Nick Bosa is kind of like the Niners' Joey Bosa, and then D Ford will be the Melvin Ingram, kind of like Riz was already saying there. I think just take the best player in the draft. According to most people, it's not my best player in the draft.
We had Niners' best player in the draft.
The Niners' best player in the draft probably
at this point. We're predicting.
Sounds like Nick Bosa, so that's why we're going Nick Bosa at 2. All
right, and I guess a little boring right off the bat because we all got this. We got the same, but it'll start to It'll be interesting. I've seen most of these already. We have differences, but then we actually have similarities in spots where you don't expect two people to have the same. So it's kind of interesting. But Josh Allen picked 3. It's between Allen and Quinnen Williams. My number 1 player in the draft is Quinnen Williams. My number 2 player in the draft is Josh Allen. Very, very tight with Nick Bosa at 3. So interesting decision for the Jets. I think Josh Allen just also fits their need, I guess, in the biggest way. They try to get Anthony Barr. Josh Allen is a version of Anthony Barr that is a little better at pass rushing even. So that makes a lot of sense, but I feel pretty confident that the Jets could trade down and they could target another pass rusher, another interior D-line. But in my head right now is I think they would target an offensive lineman. I think would be the wild card, actually. So we'll see. We'll see when I get to my final mock with trades and my trade scenario. But as this one, if they do sit, which is realistic because how could you pass on a guy like Josh Allen or Quinnen Williams here? So I have them going Josh Allen for those reasons.
Yep. Greg Williams coming in there, switching the defense up. They need that 3-4 edge rusher, and that's what
he's keeping it 3-4, so he needs the 3-4. That's what you meant. Yeah.
Yeah. So they need Josh Allen as that edge rusher there. So I think Quinnen Williams is my number 1 player in the draft as well. But I think just based off what the Jets kind of need, I think their interior defensive line's okay, but they desperately need an edge rusher, and there's a certain amount of guys at the top of the draft that are like, there's basically a couple elite pass rushers, edge rushers, and then it kind of drops off. So I think you're going to see like a run of those kind of go early. You already see Bosa go, you already see Allen go, and then you'll see probably some other ones in the top 10 or top 15 that go too, and then it's going to kind of be a drought for a little bit, the end of the first and then early second.
We didn't do any trades in this mock because this is kind of comparing mocks with the same team. You know, if I would have had the Jets trading and Pete did not, it'd be a mess because we wouldn't be able to compare then. So I guess we can compare if we think they're going to trade or not. I think they can trade, but at the same time, can they pass up a guy like Josh Allen, Quinnen Williams? So I will do the final mock with trades. And
someone asked for those guitar picks in the background. I'm pretty sure they are.
Nashville.
Nashville. They got country music.
I didn't actually think of that.
Yeah.
I was wondering why they were shaped like that. Makes sense. So Quinnen Williams at 4. We both got it. We both have him number 1 player in the draft. The Raiders need a pass rusher more than an interior D-line, so maybe they would take Josh Allen over Quinnen Williams, but Josh Allen gone. You can't pass on Quinnen Williams. You can't pass on the best player. Maybe he can't be worse than the second best player on Mayock's board. So you can't pass on that for like the 5th or 6th best player. 2 dominance. I always talk about it. Interior pressure is a game changer. It can win you games. It can win you a championship. There's not too much of it going on. And if he could stop the run at the same time at a high level, which he does, it's a bonus. So really, actually, I see it the other way around. He stops the run at the high level and he gets after the quarterback. That's a big time bonus. So that's why he's the best player in the draft, and that's why he's the pick here.
Yeah, I think Mayock has been doing this for a long, not like GMing, but it's been studying the draft and like knows kind of like what happens throughout the draft. And I think when he gets here and like the best player in the draft, our best player in the draft, is still there. I think he just has to pull the trigger, even though it's not their biggest need. I think he's going for best available for sure.
Okay, now we're getting interesting here. Moving on to the next 4 picks. Some surprises here, except for the first one. We both got Devin White. So there you have it. Our next 4 picks, 5 through 8, Bucks through Lions. Pick 5, Devin White, linebacker, LSU is what I got. It really what it comes down to is how do the Bucks value the linebacker position? Some teams don't value it that high anymore, but Devin White, and the reason for that is because they're pretty much just sitting in the middle of the field. They have to be crazy at run stopping, and they have to be able to cover. Well, Devin White can do that. And the reason I've kind of moved him in the top 5 is because I just keep hearing like what an incredible human being he is, what an incredible person he is, how he dominated the meeting part of the offseason of the draft process. Every team loves him. I keep hearing that. And then there's GMs that just fall in love with people's characters, and that's really enough for them, as long as they're obviously a good player, which Devin White is more than a good player. So, and they lost Quan Alexander too. I mean, I think the difference here is that he can get after the quarterback and he can help in the pass game. So that's really what separates him. which Devin Bush can do somewhat similar things too. But that's what separates those two, I should say, from the rest of the linebackers and why the Bucs would take them. But they could trade back. They can go Jawan Taylor, Jonah Williams. They can go Montez Sweat. They can go Ed Oliver. The Bucs is a tough one to predict, but we somehow have the same ones here.
Yeah, I think it's just filling a big need, and he's probably one of the best players in the draft as well. So they lost Quan Alexander. He's got to take that spot. Yeah, definitely could see a trade back scenario though. I guess the Bucs are. We were talking about this a little bit. The Bucs have like one of the least amount of cap space out of the teams in the NFL, and like a top 5 pick gets paid pretty well. So like they could trade back and get some other picks, like players that aren't going to get paid as much, or get some future picks too. So we don't have to really stretch their salary cap at all. But yeah, I think Devin White's the pick if they're going to stick there.
All right, so we went a little different here. Kind of a last-second thing for me. I had the Giants going Dwayne Haskins again, the quarterback from Ohio State. It was kind of what's it been in. It was in my mocks. It was in a lot of people's mocks, a while ago, or not too long ago, but anything, not recent. And the reason I went back to it is there's a couple things. All of a sudden, maybe yesterday it started that Haskins is dropping. People are kind of just putting it out there. Who's putting it out there? That's the question. You don't believe any of that stuff now. He's not dropping. And the reason it could be is because the Giants are taking him. And every year there's also that one pick. There's also multiple picks, but there's that one pick where, wow, that was the pick all along, and we got fooled and went away from it. And I think that's Dwayne Haskins. I think they were high in him, and they made it pretty obvious early in this process, and some smoke got out there. And I'm starting to believe that could actually be the pick. And they could afford to do it because they have the 2 first-round picks. And Gettleman, he's a Cam Newton fan, obviously. He was with him in the Panthers. And I think he can see Cam Newton much more mobile than Haskins. But in terms of throwing motion, I think you can see somewhat similarities between Haskins and Newton. And not that I'm really comparing them, but there's some similarities there in the style. But I think that could be enough. And I just think we're going to be sitting there on draft night like, wow, it was Haskins all along. It's just kind of a bold take of mine. I guess not too bold because it's realistic, but that's what I had. And something different, finally.
I had Montez Sweat going 6th. The Giants traded Olivier Vernon. I don't think he fit their defense that well anyways, so I think they get a player that fits their style on defense a little bit better. You could see them go Rashawn Gary. I don't know, like some teams are probably high on him. Some teams are probably not as high on him. I don't know. I'm not with the Giants. I don't know what their board's looking like, but it could be one of those two. I think their interior defensive line, they drafted some guys last year that are kind of taking care of that. So I think they're fine there. I think they're looking for that edge rusher, especially like I said, there's some elite edge rushers, and it kind of drops off. So I think they're kind of looking for one earlier before their 17th pick, where they might be all gone. So
and then Dab over there brought up something good. Is Montez Sweat a defensive end or outside linebacker? I think he can play both. I list him as defensive end. I think he's a little better as a defensive end, but he definitely can play both because of his athleticism. The Giants are known for running a 3-4, so he would step up back and play outside linebacker. I don't have a problem with it. I kind of just put where I listed the guys on there in my rankings. So you definitely can play outside linebacker, though, for them. So a little bit different there at 6, but then we're back to the same somehow at pick 7. We both have Jawan Taylor to the Jags. I think he might be too good to pass. Even though he's a lineman, he might be too good to pass at this point. I have him higher than 7 on my board. Instant plug-and-play right tackle. There's a shortage on right tackles in the NFL, and they're important because more elite pass rush is starting to come off that side of the ball. We saw Jawan Taylor versus Josh Allen did a hell of a job when Florida played Kentucky. The Jags they're looking for a right guy, a right tackle guy. I thought about Jonah Williams here, who I have going next. We'll get to that in a little bit, but Jawan Taylor makes a little more sense. They're looking for that right side, which Jonah Williams can do, but it's a little safer with the plug and play right tackle here. So that's why I went that route.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's a local guy too. He played for Florida, so keep him home. Like you've seen, you see some teams do that. It's not like really a big deal, but you saw the Jags did it with Blake Bortles back when they took him, local guys. So I think that's kind of what they need. They need to protect Nick Foles. because they had a lot. Jaguars they picked up some guys for the offensive line in the past free agency, but a lot of them were banged up last year. They had a lot of offensive linemen hurt, so I think that's where they kind of need a lot of help. Could see them take T.J. Hawkinson actually.
I could see
at
that
spot too. Give Nick Foles a target like a Zach Ertz target. I'm not saying Hawkinson's Zach Ertz, but
he could be.
He could be. He's very special. That's why I have him going next. We'll get to that, but I think Jags could definitely go that route as well. But I just feel like offensive line is going to be their priority.
With pick 8, I have the Lions going Jonah Williams, the offensive lineman from Alabama. The reason why Juwan Taylor says offensive tackle next to him and Jonah Williams says offensive lineman, because I think Jonah Williams can play. He can play tackle, he can play guard, and I even heard some NFL teams would like him at center if they drafted him. So really can play anywhere on the line, most likely the left side of the line. I think most likely in this case he'd be left guard, could potentially move to right guard for the Lions. So the Lions need one more piece to that offensive line group, which was beat up and struggled last year. And the most important thing is to keep Stafford healthy here. You can't have him banged up. They needed pass rusher at one point. They could still go that, but they got Trey Flowers. There's not really a bunch of needs for the Lions. They definitely can use a corner, but this is way too early for corner. They could definitely use a tight end, but they have some tight ends that can play. But just make sure you keep Stafford safe here. And I think Jonah Williams, another guy, I kind of said this a week or two ago, that kind of like the Dwayne Haskins thing I said, like once we get to the draft, like, all along Jonah Williams was going to go top 10, like we used to have in mock drafts. Now we don't have it anymore. So I think he's right there. He can get a little bit outside the top 10, I think it's realistic. But I think I got 2 linemen going in a row there. I think the Lions can go Jonah Williams. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm going Hawkinson with the 8th pick to the Lions. I think he's a special talent in the draft. Like, you don't really find tight ends like this. He can block really well. He's a great receiver as well. And I know the Lions made a mistake picking. It wasn't really a mistake because he showed out last year. Eric Ebron in the top 10. But I think Hawkins is definitely a safer pick than Ebron was. And just getting Matthew Stafford back on track too. Like, he didn't have the greatest year last year, but just giving him as much weapons. Like, everyone wants a tight end that's a security blanket, just over the middle of the field, easy throw. And he'll block too. He'll help their run game as well. So I think he's just the perfect pick for the Lions, especially like you said, they don't have like the most needs. Like, they're definitely teams getting a lot better. They got a lot better in free agency. So I think they could take like the smart pick here, the safe pick here with Hawkinson.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned the Lions could trade back. Yeah, I think so too. If they're set on trying to get a corner right away, they could trade. They definitely have room to trade back because a corner really I shouldn't go anytime soon from here, but you never know. For T.J. Hawkinson, I'm very high on T.J. Hawkinson. I'm kind of starting to think because of the other talent, like the more important positions up here in the defensive talent, and the quarterbacks get overdrafted, that Hawkinson could drop. I think he can go 7. I think it's probably the earliest he can go is 7. But I also think it's realistic he can drop, which we'll see here for me, because not only what I just explained, all the other guys can go, push him back. I think the tight end class is pretty good. Like, teams can be like, well, we can get a pretty good tight end that can also block, on day 3, even early day 3. So I think that could push him back. But it is realistic that he can go 7 or 8, which you had him going. So, I did have that pick at once there. We're going to move on to the next 4. There we go. Now, I had Montez Sweat going. Pete already had him going. I like Montez Sweat, a little higher than 9 on my board because he's a freak athlete and he already has production, already knows how to play, and not just get after the quarterback. He could stop the run. I do like the Neil Hunter comparison. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of comparisons. I think everyone's really their own guy, but I do like that comparison. Sweat maybe needs a little more width to him, I guess, but for Hunter, but I think they're pretty similar in style of play and athleticism. The Bills. I was actually torn on this one, and the other guy I was deciding between was the guy you had him going with. So really 2 good options here. I think what's more important is what it comes down to for the Bills, and they were looking at other pass rushers. I think they were interested in Ziggy Ansah, possibly, which they could still be, but so I think it's shown that they're a little more interested in a pass rusher out here, and they drafted Harrison Phillips last year. Doesn't mean they shouldn't go defensive lineman, because you could definitely get better. You can't be afraid to get better, but Sweat with Jerry Hughes would be pretty dominant. I think he fits in at defensive end on their defense.
Yeah, I want Ed Oliver here. The Bills are kind of known for taking best player available, even if it's defense. Like, they have a pretty good defense, and you could see, like, last year they took they took Edmonds, and like he wasn't supposed to. Didn't really think he was supposed to be there. Like he should have probably went earlier in the draft. They just took best player available, and it kind of works out for them. Like they have a really good defense. I think they continue to do it. They picked up a lot of offensive players in free agency, even though free agency is not like the best way to build a team, but they did pick up a lot of offensive weapons through free agency. So I think they just take best player available, and I think it's Ed Oliver, and I think he fits well with that defense. Kind of, he'll play defensive tackle with Star Latuele in there as well. So
yeah,
I think it works out.
Next pick 10, the Broncos. We both have Drew Lock, and they got their quarterback in Flacco, but we still both went with Drew Lock. Yeah, I just think he doesn't get by this points. Most likely we'll see a trade up for pretty much every quarterback besides Murray if he goes one. But yeah, Locke is Elway's type of quarterback. The deep balls, the specialty, and Flacco's not going to last forever too. And they did a pretty good job in free agency, filling some, nothing wow about free agency besides maybe a couple guys or one or two guys here. But my point is they pretty much filled their giant needs, so they could afford to do this really. And their defense already should have been set even for last year. Already should have been set where they didn't really need much. They had the talent. They just, I guess, couldn't get it done. Maybe it has to do with the offense not scoring. But now with Vic Fangio in there and then Bradley Chubb in the second year, I think the defense will be fine. You could afford to do this, and it just makes sense. He's their type of guy. So, yeah, that's why I went with him.
Yeah, I think that's – I don't know. You never know what's going to happen with the quarterbacks. Probably going to get trades up in the top 10. And like these two, I have the two, number 2 and number 3 quarterback going back-to-back outside, or one's in the top 10, one's outside the top 10. But I just got a feeling it's going to probably happen. Teams will probably trade up. Might be these two teams, trade up and take them. But I just think out of the two quarterbacks there, I think John Elway would definitely – I think he's preferring Drew Lock over Haskins, guy who can just has one of the best arms in the draft, and he already sees enough. I was kind of saying this. He already sees enough Patrick Mahomes, and like people are kind of giving little comparisons of Drew Lock to Patrick Mahomes. I think he kind of wants his own guy like that could throw the ball around, especially with some of the young receivers they have. So that's kind of why we went with Lock here.
Yeah, pick 11 could go. There's a multiple different players you can go with here. I went with Devin Bush because it's the Bengals' biggest need, but he's also worthy of the pick, the linebacker out of Michigan. Not far off from Devin White. He can cover. He can fly to the ball. Pretty much the same style or same, motor. How he flies, instinctive too, how he flies the ball in the backfield. Just a little bit undersized maybe, but I think we might be past that. I know some scouts and GMs probably still think like that. But I think we're getting past those days where if a guy can play out of his mind, but he's too small, I'm not taking him. Yeah, I think we're past those days. So Devin Bush, and he's not like he's ridiculously small or anything. So I like Devin Bush a lot. I think he's worthy of this pick, and it's a huge need there for Cincinnati. I think they drafted pretty well on defense last year. The offense was very good in the beginning of the year. Hopefully they can stay consistent, but they could go quarterback here. They could go. Tight end will be a wild card. They have quite a few of them though, but they could get better. Offensive line. If somehow Jonah Williams is here, I think they go that route. But I got Devin Bush for now. Yeah,
I think if Haskins is here, like I said, I think teams trade up to get the quarterbacks. But if he's here, I think the Bengals will just take a chance. And they got a new coach, so I think they're going to want to switch it up. And I think they've seen enough of Andy Dalton to know like what he is. So I think they'll bring in Haskins, and he's a good prospect. He's a good quarterback, so I think he would – it's another one where he's local too, and coming from Ohio State, it's pretty close for him. So
yeah,
just like the pick, I like the player where it's at there.
So pick 12, I still had Ed Oliver on the board, and it's just this has to be the latest he goes because he's a dominant player. I think it's realistic that he could drop a little bit. Teams drafting off pure need, and he did play. He has a lot of upside because Houston didn't really use him a lot. They kind of moved him around, played him at nose at times. So I guess teams really don't know if he actually can play what he should play at the next level. But I think he doesn't get by this point with all the upside and the Packers having 2 picks. I think he plays defensive end in the 3-4 for the Packers. I like him there. If he went to a 4-3 team, D-tackle could play 3 technique for a 4-3 team. But yeah, I don't think he gets by this point. That defensive line would be pretty stacked with Mike Daniels, Kenny Clark, and Ed Oliver. So not really the biggest need, but they definitely could use another guy there, and he would start, obviously, whoever they got. if it was early in the draft. So dominant D-line, too good to pass.
Yeah, and I have them taking another defensive lineman as well, Rashawn Gary. I mean, some people, like I was saying, like you could see him go to the Giants at 6, or you could see him fall into the 20s. Like, you don't really know where Rashawn Gary's going to go, like what they value, because his stats, his production wasn't that great in college, but he's just a freak athletically. And like you could see, like on tape, like he has some special skills, but like he's still not there all the way there with technique wise. So I think the Packers just take him and like try to bolster that D line. Like they already have Mike Daniels. They picked up 2 edge rushers in free agency. So like why not add another defensive end in there in the mix and make that, like, boost that pass rush, because that's what kind of teams are looking for now, is good quarterback play, good offensive line, and good pass rush. So
yeah, I would like Gary at the defensive end, even in 3-4. But I'm afraid if a 3-4 team gets him, like in the back of my mind, could they really put him an outside linebacker? Because some people view him as just a pure edge rusher. I do not see him playing outside linebacker. I think he can be. That's why what makes him special, though. He can be 3 different things here. He can be a, like you said, 3-4 end for the Packers, or a 3-4 team. He can be a 4-3 defensive end, or he can be a 4-3-3 technique defensive tackle as well. So that's why he's special. Yeah, I know people get mad about whenever I mock Gary to somebody, because they go and instantly look at his stats and they're not there. He missed some games because of injury. That's a little bit of a concern. But when he did play, he got the pressure. He just needs to finish with the sacks. And I've actually seen 3 guys blocking him. Like, I'm not even lying. I've actually seen that. It was not a consistent thing. He was double teamed a lot, but I've actually seen three guys blocking him, 2 offensive linemen, 1 tight end. So it's a little ridiculous. Teams feared him. So he can play even though he doesn't have the production. I'm curious to see what he lines up at the next level. All right, we're on to our next 4 picks.
Someone wanted Hawkinson to the Patriots. Well, he's already gone for me.
And he's still on the board for me. And he's still on the board.
Jeez.
Like I said, he can go 7, but I was kind of feeling something here. I kind of explained it. I'll explain it again. And then there's Rashawn Gary again. I got him going to the Dolphins. I don't think Brian Flores would be able to pass him at this point. I think he plays 4-3 defensive end for the Dolphins, but he could slide into defensive tackle if they need him to. But yeah, he has the talent. You know, he needs maybe a little bit of time. Maybe he's not going to get a bunch of sacks in year 1, but that's okay. And the Dolphins need a quarterback, obviously. We got 3 off the board, but they need D ends and D tackles. You get a guy that can play both right here, and he's going to get you pressure. Again, I just don't know. There's other guys that could be worthy of the pick too. I just don't know. I think maybe too good to pass on the Dolphins board at the time, you know. So that's what I got. And then you got him going with a D lineman as well.
Yeah, I got him getting Christian Wilkins. I think he's kind of slept on by like other analysts and like people who are doing mock drafts, like having him go like falling into like the late.
I think it's the 24 years old thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's just one of the best interior defensive linemen in the draft. And I think the Dolphins, I think Flores being there is gonna, like you said, is gonna want to look for his own guys, put together his own defense, and I think their defense isn't that bad. They just need a few pieces, and I think he's one of the pieces that they kind of need, and he's gonna help them a lot. And I think that's kind of where, I don't know, I think out of the players left, I think he's probably gonna be the top guy on their board defensive wise.
Yeah, I would agree with that pick too. I was kind of thinking between Rashawn Gary and Christian Wilkins, and actually with this next pick, I was deciding between Christian Wilkins and Brian Burns, and so we both had those with the Falcons. So we're on the same page, even though we got different picks here. We got the same pick next, but Christian Wilkins at this point, they definitely need another defensive tackle. The Falcons, that is, next to Grady Jarrett. So Christian Wilkins can stop the run, he can get after the quarterback. A guy they would like. I was thinking about Brian Burns too, because they could use a pass rusher of the future, and I think a guy that can play outside linebacker or defensive ends kind of fits the Dan Quinn profile there. So, but I went with Christian Wilkins here.
Yeah, I went with Brian Burns. I think Falcons they need someone on the edge like that. They try to move Vic Beasley off the ball. I don't think he's like that great off the ball, so I think he kind of go back to where he was playing, and I think they could move Burns in there. And also same with, I mean, what do they have Tack McKinley playing?
The end.
Yeah. So,
but he can come off the ball too. That's the kind of guys they like. Yeah. That's the hybrid guys.
Yeah. I mean, Vic Beasley's kind of disappointing after what he did, was that 2 years ago? He kind of went off with the sack. So I think they're just kind of looking for another edge rusher in there. Brian Burns. And again, like I said, I think edge rushers, there's elite group and it kind of drops off. I think Brian Burns is kind of like the end of that elite group there. So I think the Falcons just kind of have to take him there.
Okay. And then we got the same here. I was kind of surprised by having the
I
same.
think the Redskins fans are mad about this one.
They don't like it?
I don't know. Who do the Redskins fans want at this pick?
I mean, I would think it'd be a receiver. I guess they could. They can
want
go
Greedy. They want Greedy Williams.
Maybe a little early for Greedy, but it's definitely possible. I just think I was thinking, okay, so what's coming out now, do we believe it or not, is that maybe very little receivers can go in the first round, and Marquise Brown should be the one that's guaranteed. So really what came to mind here is Marquise Brown. Like, should that be the pick? But after thinking about it, I see them liking DK Metcalf more, that freakish guy, that big of a receiver that runs that fast, like, and is that good? I know he missed games because of injury. I know he doesn't really run inside the numbers a lot, but you can see he's capable of it. I just think that's the Redskins type of guy. They like Josh Doxson, and this is a much better version of Josh Doxson. They definitely need a receiver. I think Case Keenum can play. He needs receivers, though. But maybe they could be looking for the quarterback of the future here. It's a possibility. Maybe they try to trade for Josh Rosen. Maybe they take Daniel Jones here. But I just think DK Metcalf's their guy. It could be Metcalf. It could be Marquise Brown. I think Metcalf's more their guy. It could be N'Keal Harry. It could be A.J. Brown. It could be a different position. It really could be. The offensive line, I think, is good, but it keeps getting beat up. So then it's not good, and that's how Alex Smith gets hurt. And they really need receivers, but they got to be careful with the offensive line. Lost Preston Smith, so could they? They've had pretty good depth, though. I think they got guys to step up. Ryan Anderson. They need defensive depth, but they might be okay with starting-wise on defense. That's my opinion. I don't know. But you can't be afraid to get better. But I think they do get better with DK Metcalf.
Yeah. I was kind of looking at it, and I was like trying to think what they could do. Like you already said, I think they could be one of the teams that trades up for a quarterback, or they could trade for Rosen. They did lose Preston Smith, so like I said, those outside linebackers and those edge rushers are going to be pretty valuable in the draft. So I think that's why they're going to kind of fly off the board early. So they could take, you have Brian Burns still there, so they could take Brian Burns. They could take Cleveland Farrell if they want, to take Preston Smith's spot to go opposite of Kerrigan. But yeah, I kind of went with DK Metcalf here. I think he's just a freak athlete. People are commenting he can't run routes. He can run routes.
He can definitely run routes.
He's just not the best.
He just really wasn't asked to run a bunch of different ones.
And he kind of just did what he was supposed to do in the offense. Offense are designed like that. Like A.J. Brown was the guy who was supposed to go in the slot and run all those fancy routes, those quick routes. But Metcalf was supposed to be on the outside, kind of running those post routes, those streak routes. I've seen him run dig routes across the field. That's what you want from an outside receiver. Not really anything.
Just think about Julio Jones too. Just
he's a really good runner.
No, yeah, I know, but when he was in Alabama, it seemed like he stuck to the sideline a lot. And same build, same speed. But he's definitely, we saw a little more of him in the slot. Well, now you do, but then it really wasn't we knew Julio Jones was really good then, but we wouldn't think he would be where he was. And Metcalf is similar body type too, so we both got that there. So I guess it's happening for sure. No, I'm kidding, but it's kind of weird that we have it, and we have some weird similar ones coming. But I went Brian Burns 16th to the Panthers. It's very important to protect Cam Newton. And, I think that might be option A for them, but I don't know if they can – I don't want to say reach because I like Cody Ford. I like Andre Dillard. I like Garrett Bradbury. I like them. Would they be worthy of the pick? Maybe a couple picks early, so I guess that's not a reach at all. But at the same time, can you pass on Brian Burns? Brian Burns is a top 10 player to me. People say he's look at Sharky Boy. He's got his membership badge there. He's got
showing it off.
Yeah. The longer you're a member of the Goat House, I'll post the link again. I've done it a million times there. In the chat I post the link. So the longer you're a member, you get different badges and emojis too. So that's pretty cool. That's the first day we went live for us. So appreciate that. But anyways, Brian Burns, excellent pass rusher, can stop the run, can get after the quarterback. elite pass rush moves. Really seen him spin inside, outside. His handwork's good. The more I'm talking about him, the more and more I'm liking him. And I already know. I pretty much already watched everything. It just really is the underweight, undersized, and I'm not a big fan of a guy who's too undersized to play. So, and again, I think we're past that today's NFL. We'll see in the NFL draft with Kyler Murray, with guys like Devin Bush, Brian Burns. It's going to be very interesting. But Panthers have been missing pass rush for a while, and that's kind of what they're missing to get that next step, even when they're like really good right there. So I think they do it here. If somehow Jonah Williams is on the board, Jawan Taylor, they're running to the podium. They're running to the podium with those guys, no doubts.
Yeah, I went with Andre Dillard here. They need to protect Cam. He was taking a beating. So keeping him upright's got to be priority one for them. I was kind of impressed with Dillard. I saw a stat the other day. He's like taking the most snaps going into pass pro out of any of the tackles in the draft by a long shot too. And he graded. I know Pro Football Focus isn't like the best thing to do, but and like the best thing to follow. But like he had a really good pass blocking grade as well, and like he's going against some pretty high level competition. I know like people make fun of the Pac-12, but still good competition. Like there's some good players there, so like he did a really.
Oh, and not only does he get a membership, Sharky Boy 200 donated $2 through Super Chat. I clap it up.
There we go.
Really appreciate you. You're coming through today. That's big time.
Yeah, so I like Andre Dillard for the Panthers.
All right, I got some surprises coming probably.
There's my team.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
All right, we'll get to them. Everyone relax. My fellow Vikings fans need to relax, okay?
Oh, I didn't even see that. Wow.
I'll get there, all right?
What the heck?
Offensive lineman Cody Ford to the Giants at 17. So
This is really wild,
and
man.
you're going to piss people off with your Giants pick. So
I know.
we got quite the page up right now. We got quite the graphic up right now. Cody Ford, Oklahoma, offensive lineman. Why? I had them taking Dwayne Haskins with the other pick. They got their quarterback. They need to protect him with the right side of the line. Cody Ford is a right tackle. If not, he's a right guard, and he's a very good one. Very quick feet. Knows how to contain. That's today's tackle too. The zone scheme's taken over, and Cody Ford worthy of the pick, and it makes so much sense. They can afford to go Dwayne Haskins with the first pick, and then they can grab the guy to protect him here. I would like to, even though I'm not super high on Haskins, I'm not that high, and would I pick him that early? Probably not, but he is a quarterback, so that brings up a debate. I would like this very much, and that's what I'm predicting to happen right at this moment. I think it's realistic, and you're about to make people really mad with
all right, don't get mad at me. Get mad at Gettleman, all right? It's just what I think he's going to do. It's not me. I wouldn't take Daniel Jones. I don't think he's a first-round pick. I agree with people who are saying already.
I don't have him in the first round, but you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, you see all the time, like, people, like,
which he definitely could go in the first round.
Reach for quarterbacks, like, you're hearing he's going to go first round. Like, people are saying, like, it's guaranteed he's going to go first. It could be late first, too. So, like, you could see a team trade back in or, like, one of those late teams take him. But I just have the Giants taking him here. I already have him taking Montez Sweat. So, I was kind of looking at Cleveland Farrell, but I was like, they already got enough.
I don't think he fits either.
I don't know. They already got enough defensive linemen there, but yeah, I don't know. I just think Gettleman is going to look for a quarterback, and I think he's just going to take Daniel Jones. Like, everyone's hyping him up. He played for Cutcliffe. Cutcliffe coached Peyton Manning. Who else did he coach? I
think he coached Eli too.
Might have coached Eli too. Yeah, but yeah, it's just what I have a feeling for there. It's not really what I would do.
I could see it. I don't have him going first because just what I see. I just would think a majority of the NFL teams would see. I have a early third round grade on him. Second round pick wouldn't be bad because he is a quarterback. You got to give whatever you grade him, you got to give him a little boost because they're a quarterback. But yeah, all right. Now on to my Vikings. I know some fans may not like it. I don't have him taking an offensive line. I got him going T.J. Hawkinson from Iowa. I had him drop. He's way better than the 18th overall player, so it'll be much worth the 18th overall pick. And why don't they go offensive line? Well, there's a few reasons. You got Jawan Taylor and Jonah Williams off the board. I do not expect, I say 0% chance Jawan Taylor's there. I think slight chance that I think there's a chance Jonah Williams there. You haven't taken Jonah Williams. Any of those two guys are there. they're taking him. They're running to the podium. No doubt about it. They'll take Jonah Williams. I don't have him there, though. I had him going up to the Lions.
8th, I think, right?
Yeah. So why T.J. Hawkinson instead of, I still have Andre Dillard on the board. Maybe they would take Cody Ford, too, but I have him off the board. Garrett Bradbury would be a good pick, too. But I think Vikings fans got to be prepared for them not to take a lineman. I think they could take a lineman. There's a good chance they take one, but to me, there's multiple different reasons here. Well, T.J. Hawkinson can block, first off. He can be a big part of the run blocking game.
He's
going to play tight end, and they're going to use him. David Morgan, Rudy, they're somehow going to incorporate it. I know they have 2 solid tight ends already, but Hawkinson's, you can't be afraid to get better. He's, a future Pro Bowl tight end, maybe right away. But so he helps the blocking as it is. The Vikings are switching from a gap scheme to a zone blocking scheme. So right off the bat, you're taking your guys that I'm going to say are, because that's my team, our offensive linemen who we thought could be good. They were pretty solid 2 years ago, and they were playing in a hard to play scheme. Now they're playing in a much easier scheme. So it's realistic that guys like Riley Reef, who were supposed to be good, Pat Elflein, who's supposed to be good, those guys, Brian O'Neill was good. It's realistic that those guys could actually play well now. And it's not going to be magic. It's just because they switched schemes and they have better coaching. Kubiak won 4 Super Bowls, and he's a genius in the run blocking game. So I think they can take a lineman, but I would not be surprised if it wasn't. If T.J. Hawkinson is there, which I think is realistic because the tight ends, I think teams think with a really good defense talent up there and we can get a tight end later, they may pass on him, but he's very good. He's a total package. So I don't think he gets by pick 18. Like, I would be shocked if he got this far down. Maybe 19. Maybe he wouldn't get by 19.
Yeah.
And you got Jonah Williams.
I'm going, it's kind of weird. We have like these flopped.
Yeah.
We flip-flopped.
We did.
You had Jonah Williams going to the Lions at 8. I had Hawkinson going 8 to the Lions. Then we flipped him here. I think Jonah Williams, I had a lot of offensive linemen sliding just because there's so much defensive talent, especially on the D-line and edge rushers. So it kind of pushed some of the offensive linemen down here, and the Vikings are in desperate need of offensive line, so I think it's perfect for them. I think they would run to the podium for this pick.
Oh, yeah.
If Jonah Williams was there, because he could play left guard. Yeah, he could play any position for them. And like I know Vikings kind of have other guys that are kind of interchangeable as well, so I think it just fits in with them.
All right, now we're on to Pigskins Titans. Now we're on to his team. We're back to back.
Back to back.
Pretty interesting how that played out here.
We're better, though.
Yeah, 1 pick better. Look at that. All right, so I have Marquise Brown at pick 19, the Oklahoma receiver. The talk is that there's rumors that he could be the only receiver or the first receiver. I'm not buying the only receiver. I'm not buying that. But the talk is that he should be the first receiver off the board. Most teams, I know not all teams, but most teams have him as number 1 wide receiver. So I figured at this point, like, there's no way he could get by, somewhere around here because I still had him on the board at 19. Now, that would be a reason. The Titans could use defense. They definitely can use defensive line. They can use pass rush, but they still need a receiver, I think, even though they got Adam Humphries. I don't have the comparison. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of comparisons. I think everyone's their own guy, but if I see something, I'm going to say it. But I don't love this comparison, but I can see some similarities, but everybody seems to be comparing, and apparently people around the league are comparing Marquise Brown to Deshaun Jackson. And this is not why I had him going there, but I thought it was interesting that Deshaun Jackson and Humphries were on the same team with the Bucs. So basically what I'm saying is you can make they're somewhat similar, not really the same style receiver, but they both play in a slot. They both can play outside. You can make it work. You can have 2 of those guys. So then you got a big 3 here with the receivers, 2 good to pass. But then, yeah, like we were talking about, I think they could use offense because sometimes they were just struggling to score points last year. And then Marquise Brown brings a different element to their game. They can score more points, and I do like you got Dexter Williams, and I'm going to start arguing right now
Lawrence.
here. Dexter Lawrence, yeah. Did I say Williams?
Yeah.
But I'm not done. I'm not done.
Just want to go.
Dexter Lawrence. All right, you go, and then I'll argue.
All right. So people were saying, like, Mr. Cardinal said, like, Dexter Lawrence great for Jarrell. Like, that's kind of what I was thinking. And like he said, he also said that finally someone has Titans taking Dexter Lawrence, like a nose tackle, because I was like thinking like John Robinson. I love John Robinson. I think he's a great GM. I think he's helped our team so much, but he's failed at getting a nose tackle for us. He tried Sylvester Williams 2 years ago, it did not work out. He tried Benny Logan last year, did not work out. So I think with Dexter Lawrence here, like with all those edge rushers gone and Christian Wilkins gone, I think Dexter Lawrence kind of fits perfectly for what we need. But I definitely could see Marquise Brown or like someone like that. John Robinson, you never know. Like I remember 2 years ago, I was so surprised they took Corey Davis with the 5th pick. I just couldn't believe that that's what they actually did. Like we expected receivers to kind of fall a little bit further than that than 5th pick, but you could see John Robinson maybe going for another receiver to help Mariota. I think this year they're kind of all out for Mariota, trying to help him out and make sure like he's their guy, because they got to figure that out this year.
Yeah, you're not really gonna know unless he has his weapons too.
And I think Marquise Brown would fit in perfect too, because Adam Humphries could stay in the slot. That's fine. Corey Davis is your X receiver. He's gonna run a lot of stuff on the route tree and play kind of like his single side. And then the Z receivers, Taywan Taylor, he's a speedster. Like that's kind of their offense that they have. They kind of have that guy that kind of opens the field up for everyone else. And Marquise Brown is exactly that. Like he's the speedster that'll open up. He'll run that deep route. He could play in the slot too. He can move him around too. But I think he kind of fits what they need as that Z receiver. So I can see like what you're going with there. And I also like a lot of Titans fans like it too. They like Bradbury at that 19th pick for them, and I could see that one. I could see John Robinson liking him a lot too, and like he could play center and they can move Ben Jones to guard, or he could play guard and keep Ben Jones at center. So like that's the good thing about Bradbury. So I could see like any of those three going there.
All right, so now it's my turn to go back to Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
I think they can take Dexter Lawrence, and I think it would be a good pick. But what I was thinking is, well, on top of them needing to score more points, needing more power and offense. So let me ask you this. What did they do very well on defense last year, and what did they need to improve on defense last year the most?
What was the question? I was reading comments here.
The Titans on defense. What was their best thing? They stopped the run at a high level.
Well, not as good as in the past, but yeah, they've been good at it for a couple of years.
And they couldn't really get the sacks. So
Yeah.
I think they're looking for the pass rusher on defense away.
I think Dexter Lawrence puts the pressure in the middle.
Yeah.
Him and Jarrell Casey.
I would like Dexter Lawrence as the pick, and I think it's realistic, but I think they're really mainly looking on defense for pass rush, and Cleveland Farrell we have on the board still. He doesn't fit, and the better guys that fit are gone at this point, so I think they look to bring another element to the offense, but I think they can go Dexter Lawrence. I think they definitely can go Dexter Lawrence still.
Someone said, where was it? Titans are low-key stacked this year. I love it. They people are sleeping on them. They're sleeping. Watch out.
We both have corners at pick 20, but different corners.
I got my number one corner.
And I got my number one corner. I got Greedy Williams. He's my number one corner, but that's not why I have him going here, because it's predict a pick. It's not really based off how I grade, but I think he'd be the majority of the league's number one corner. You know, he has the size, the athleticism, the playmaking ability. Like I mentioned, his technique it's not terrible, but it needs to be, it definitely needs some work. So, but he's was able to do what he did while having an interesting technique. I found when watching his film, I played corner myself, so I guess it's a little easier. But I found myself, I knew what kind of coverage he was in by the way he lined up, sometimes by like a second after the ball was snapped. It was very strange. I knew what coverage he was in just by the way he was lined up, so I didn't like that. That kind of goes along with the technique needs some work, but easily could be fixed. This is stuff that can be fixed. It's not like it's programmed into his brain. I don't think so. So, and like I said, he has the playmaking ability, the athleticism, and the size. And do you want me to tell you why Byron Murphy, I don't think he'll go first? Or do you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Byron Murphy, because he's a little undersized, you could say. I think some teams will view him as more of a slot guy, which that's a very important position. But since he's undersized, you expect him to be like crazy athletic, crazy fast. He's quick, he's athletic, but he's nowhere near like Greedy Williams. So I think you expect these types of guys for you to draft him high. Most teams, that is. So I'm not ruling out he can go here, be the first corner. But I think most teams would like him to be, if he doesn't have the size, to be a little more. I guess it's really the 40 time, which shouldn't matter that much. Well, for corners it is. I guess you look at the past, guys that ran below 4.5s have definitely been the more successful ones, especially in today's quick offenses. So I think that'll scare some teams, not all of them, but he does have the best technique right now out of all the corners. I don't argue that. So you go ahead.
First, I actually want to go back a little bit because the comments are coming in kind of late, but someone said that
Denzel Ward was on another level, though, and way more athletic.
Yeah. Comments, more Titan stuff.
Kinda
Can't let the Titan stuff go. Someone said Mariota has Delaney Walker, Corey Davis, Adam Humphries, Dan Lewis. Those are good weapons, but like last year, Delaney Walker was hurt. They didn't have Humphries last year. And LaFleur didn't know how to use the running backs properly. So hopefully Dan Lewis finds a better role. But yeah, we have those guys coming back. And then someone else said they've been sleeping on the Titans. They're 9-7 3 years in a row. Anyways, Byron Murphy, he's my number one corner. Just like I just like how he plays. Like he plays with a lot of passion, even for like his size. I think he's athletic. I mean, I think he's fast enough and athletic enough to keep up with receivers in the NFL. I don't think that's a problem. But, yeah, no, I just think the Steelers in the past, too, like cornerback-wise, I feel like they've taken, like, some smaller-sized guys anyways. So I don't think that kind of matters for them. I think they're just looking for guys who play with good technique that fit their defense. But, yeah, that's why I kind of went with Byron Murphy here. And, yeah, there's some – I mean, they still have Joe Hayden. I don't know if he's gone or not.
He's got one more year.
Yeah, like they're very similar built. I don't know if you want like two guys like that, but I just think it's just they're not opposed to the size part of it.
Yeah. Somebody asked about Jawan Williams, my thoughts. Yeah, I like Jawan Williams. I think he'd be a solid second-round pick. Has the size. I think he's very good in zone, just not sure about man. That's what other teams are concerned about. All right, next four picks. Right off the top, we have an interesting one that's the same because I haven't really seen too many mocks with this, and we both have the same. We both have Clelin Ferrell from Clemson to the Seahawks at pick 21. The reason I had it, I still had him on the board. He's much better than the 21st overall player. The Seahawks only, they have Frank Clark, and he's still on the franchise tag. So as of now, unless they can predict the future, they only have him for one more year. And opposite of that, they drafted Rasheem Green last year, who I thought was more of a 3-4 end, but he definitely can play the 4-3 end. But that's really all you got. So, and then you did bring Marsh back, but he's more of a step off the ball type of guy. But Clelin Ferrell is that true defensive end. I think he's good. He's good opposite of Frank Clark, and he can, if it comes down to it, I know the Seahawks fans definitely want to keep Frank Clark, and they should. But if it comes down to it, he definitely can be a replacement. He plays at a high level. He's a big reason why Clemson was very good. He's not flashy athletic. He played very good against top linemen like Jonah Williams. His hand usage is good. He's strong as hell. He's smart too. He knows where the ball is going. He can stop the run. So excellent pick here, down at 21. But I do understand that there's some pass rushers that just stand out a little more. But we have them going way higher in this. So just too good to pass. And I think maybe not the biggest need, but it's up there.
I just thought best player available. Some people have the Titans taking Ferrell, but I don't think he fits their defense well. Unless they're going to switch things up. But I just thought he's going to kind of slide just because all the other pass rushers are a little bit better than him. A little bit more. People are looking for those athletic freaks. He's not like.
Oh, there we go. Clap it up for Huffer 6. Huffer.
He's not like.
I'm probably saying it wrong. He said, "Thank you for all your content. I can't get enough of it. Keep it up, guys." And I like the Noah Fant pick for the Raiders. Really appreciate you very much.
You.
I love doing this content, constantly working on it. Love the draft. I love hearing that. Really appreciate you for that donation. Thank you.
Back to Ferrell. Yeah, he's not as athletic as Burns and Sweat and those type of guys, but just a solid player. I mean, the whole Clemson defensive line was very, very good. And I think he's just too good to pass here. And like you said, they could use someone opposite of Frank Clark, and Frank Clark is playing on the franchise tag. So, and you see the Seahawks are kind of last year we didn't know what they were doing. They're kind of rebuilding almost, but they could continue to. I mean, they still made the playoffs, but they could continue to kind of go through that kind of long-term process. Even if they lose Frank Clark, they have Ferrell they could bank on for years in the future. So.
Kind of add on to you. You kind of got to it a little bit, but why the other pass rushers won't fall and Ferrell could. like those other pass rushers we talked about, we said Montez Sweat. We like him
play
at
both.
He can play out. They can all play both. Cleveland Farrell's strictly a 4-3 in my opinion, but somewhat a similar body type, not quite as athletic to Bradley Chubb, who I thought would only be a 4-3 last year, and he stepped back, just did fine with the Broncos. So you never know, but we both agree that he could fit the Seahawks, and they wouldn't pass him at this point. Next up, we got two different picks.
If you're a Ravens fan, you got to just love both of these picks.
Yeah. So I got N'Keal Harry, my number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
My receiver rankings are coming out tomorrow. I did quarterbacks and running backs, my receiver rankings. I love this receiver class, in depth, and I already gave away Harry's my number 1 receiver. But I got him at 22. There's teams that are I'm not buying at one receiver's going in the first round. I'm just not buying it. These guys are too good. N'Keal Harry is a complete receiver. He's not flashy speed, but he's fast enough. So far. And the Ravens, I mean, it's obvious they're desperate for a receiver. N'Keal Harry can do it all. It'd be fun to watch him and Lamar Jackson. I would love this pick. I think it's realistic. Maybe they would take Brown instead if he was there, but he's off the board. Yeah. I
would have him taking Marquise Brown if Devin Bush wasn't here, but I just have Devin Bush falling this far. He could. I mean, yeah. I was thinking about putting him with the Bengals at 11 where you had him, but Haskins was there, so I had to put Haskins with them. At that 11th pick. So Devin Bush kind of falls here. I mean, other teams could have used a middle linebacker, but like I just felt like they had bigger needs and better players were on the board. But not to say Devin Bush is not a good player. He's definitely a great player in the draft. He might be. Some teams might view him as a little undersized, but.
Oh, look at that. There's Sharky Boy 200 again. Yeah. He's having a day. $5.
Having a day.
Have a day. Really appreciate you. What a guy.
Oh man!
What a shark boy!
Yeah, just couldn't pass on Devin Bush. It'd be like that's a grade A mock. That's a grade A draft right there.
We should have mocked Shark Boy in here. We should have mocked him.
Grade A draft for the Ravens right there.
Yeah.
Either pick.
All right, and now we both went Lyman, and
you had Cody Ford going. I think I had Dillard.
Yeah, we
going,
have the opposite gone already. So. Yeah. Texans need a line.
Yeah.
Andre Dillard. I do like Cody Ford better for them, but I have Cody Ford gone. I had him going to the Giants. I do like him a little better, but Andre Dillard can play right away. They need line. I saw today that they're bringing in A.J. Brown for a visit, and, they went out and traded for Demaryius Thomas, so they're serious about getting a big-time receiver, so maybe that's a wild card here. Could they take A.J. Brown?
Still sitting there?
He's visiting the Patriots.
Oh, my God.
Another one. Gus Gair. $3.99. Wow. Really appreciate it. Guys, your content is always fun to watch. Thank you. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Love doing this. Really appreciate all the donations today. Love you guys. So, yeah, Dillard, Texans. I think it's got to be the pick at this point. But, yeah, the corner and receiver would be the wild cards. Could definitely be corner.
Yeah, I could see him taking a corner as well. But, yeah, we already talked about it, really. Texans need offensive line help. Cody Ford could play multiple positions. I think he could play right tackle. He could play guard. So like whatever, I don't know what the Texans have going on with the offensive line, but wherever they need to put him, he could fit in kind of any of those spots.
Okay, now I have Byron Murphy coming off the board here. Was a tough call between Murphy and DeAndre Baker, and interesting situation with DeAndre Baker coming up. Maybe or maybe not, because. We'll get to that. But Byron Murphy,
what happened?
I think I think Murphy, even though I explained some teams may not like him because he's undersized and he doesn't have like crazy speed like Denzel Ward did last year. But then some teams will like him because his technique is there. And then the Raiders do need a corner. I think the Raiders may rather have Greedy Williams, but Byron Murphy here at this pick, I think they would do it. And you went with Noah Fant.
Yeah, a lot of teams are high on Noah Fant. Some teams aren't. I keep saying about prospects. I mean, we don't really know, but some people are hyping him up. I think he's definitely a round one tight end, and like this is at the end of round one. So I think the Raiders lost Jared Cook too, so they're gonna need someone to kind of fill that void. They did pick up a lot of good weapons for receivers, but yeah, they could use someone in the middle of the field. To give Derek Carr kind of some easy throws, or they could just have a different quarterback. We don't know what Mayock's thinking over there. He's saying I saw something today that he said Derek Carr's their quarterback, but like they're still looking if they could get someone better. said something like that. So I was like,
He's just playing games.
yeah, I don't
or
know.
is he?
I don't know. But yeah, Noah Fant would be, I think, a great pick for the Raiders here to fill that Jared Cook void.
All right, next 4. There we go. I got the Eagles at pick 25. We got all different ones. I like that.
Oh.
At pick 25, I got the Eagles taking Dalton Risner, Kansas State. Offensive lineman, he can play tackle at a high level, but teams do like his ability to possibly slide in the guard. So, yeah, the Eagles definitely need help, mainly on the left side of the line. So I think he could be left guard right away and then possibly slide out to tackle in the future, which they're kind of aging on the line. So Wentz has his injuries. They got to keep him protected. I think maybe a bigger need at linebacker, but there's no linebacker worth this pick here at pick 25. They can wait for that. You have them going corner. In terms of corner, I think they have a long list of corners on their team, but they don't have that legit number 1 guy. So it's go big or go home at corner, in my opinion. But like I said, very important to protect Wentz because he's been hurt, and Risner's definitely worthy of the pick. Nasty blocker. He's mean.
Yeah, I'm with Greedy here. I thought the Eagles struggled. Their secondary struggled. I know they had a lot of injuries, but I mean, you can't just bank on people being healthy this year. And I mean, Greedy Williams, not my number 1 corner, but a lot of people's number 1 corner. And him just being here at 25, I think that just makes sense for the Eagles. They don't have like too many holes on their team. Offensive line, yeah, they could use maybe some offensive linemen, but I think they're. What is Risner going to play guard then for them?
I'd say
because they got Peters and Lane Johnson.
Yeah, I mean Peters has been hurt every year.
Yeah,
I mean that's the good thing about him.
True.
But they could definitely use another left guard too, starting. So I think in this case, if Peters is good to go day 1, I think Risner would play left guard right away, possibly slide over to left tackle. The right side's good with Lane Johnson over there. So
yeah, but I just think they need a true number 1 corner over there, and
makes sense.
Yeah, I'm put Greedy with the Eagles there.
The Colts, I've been mocking the Colts, either a receiver or corner, something a little bit different, but that's not the reason I did it, but it just happens to be something a little different. I think they'll like Jerry Tillery. I think they have quite a few guys that can play interior D-line, but they don't really have that guy that's like a sure thing. You know what you're going to get. Got a couple guys last year that kind of played better than what we expected, so what are we going to get this year, you know? Tillery can get after the quarterback at a high level, and then he can stop the run, obviously, so... Tillery is, I think, the ultimate guy where teams are going to be split on. Like, I can see, like, if he went top 15, we'll say, it wouldn't really shock me. But if he went early second round, it wouldn't really shock me. So he's kind of that guy. But the fact that he brings that pass rush ability to his game is just, you know, what I think makes him a first round pick. So I think the Colts will like him. Yeah, you know, all the talk. I like having him going with a receiver, but 3 off the board and all that talk that maybe not as many receivers as we thought were going to go kind of scared me away from that, and I do like Tillery as the fit.
Yeah, I would hate it if the Colts got N'Keal Harry so much.
Because you're a Titans fan,
yeah,
just to make it that clear.
Yeah, I would just hate it. I think he's the best receiver in the draft, and I think he would kind of be the perfect pair for him and T.Y. Hilton are kind of, I mean, they have similarities, but I think they're kind of opposites as far as like just body type and type of receiver. I mean, they're both good after the catch. They both can make contested catches. They're both great, good receivers, but I think just size-wise, they're good complements. And the Colts, I think, need another guy for Andrew Luck. Like they had some guys that are not well known on their team that they were definitely playing well. They were making plays for them, but I mean, sometimes they'll have some drops, or they'll have someone who can't get open. Like you saw, the Colts really struggled against the Chiefs in the playoffs. You know, the Chiefs defense isn't that good. They struggled Andrew Luck struggled finding anyone open really.
All there were some drops too.
Yeah, there were drops too.
So
I think that'd be the perfect pick for them at 26.
Yeah, when we're live during the draft, I kind of just give an analysis on the picks when they happen, and if that happened, then I'd be clapping it up for the Colts. I think Harry would be an excellent pick. I had him off the board though. You had the Raiders taking Noah Fant, and I have them taking Noah Fant with this pick. Just different picks here.
Picks after.
Yeah, I think some people were starting to talk about he can go like top 15, and I think that kind of cooled down a little bit after the combine. You know, I think, you know, him being not really a complete tight end, like he can block. You know, I guess we really don't know too because they use Hawkinson for that. They're always both on the field. So can he be an every down tight end? He did have some drops, but he's a freak athlete, and he can catch the ball in big situations. So I think he's more down here possibly. Could go earlier, could go in the teens, but I like him here for the Raiders. That's definitely got to be the pick if he's here.
Yeah, I went with Josh Jacobs.
You went with a running back.
Running back off the board, yeah. I think he's clear-cut the best running back in the draft. And the Raiders desperately need a running back. And I don't know who's really calling the shots, so for sure with the Raiders over there, but I think either if it's Mayock or Gruden, I think they would both love to kind of have Josh Jacobs as their pick here and on their team. Like you just see how he plays, like he'll run you over, he could be elusive as well and make some moves around people too. So I think they would just kind of like to have that part of their offense. And I already have them taking Noah Fant too, so they're kind of putting together a full offense. They picked up good receivers in the offseason. Now they draft a tight end and a running back. Now they got a kind of complete offense over there.
Yeah, I don't have Josh Jacobs going in the first round, but I can see it. But I also see teams just not really valuing the running back position, just kind of just waiting because there's pretty good depth early day 3 maybe, so maybe waiting for that. A little lower risk there, but can see it either way. Raiders definitely could use a running back. The Chargers, I went with defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence from Clemson. If he's there, I see this as the pick. They definitely need another defensive tackle. That's really all they need, in my opinion. I guess they can use another offensive lineman, another linebacker, but to be a complete team, they need a defensive tackle. They can make way with what they got over there. But, Dexter Lawrence, definitely what they're looking for. They could I like Jerry Tillery for them because he brings that pass rush ability to it. Dexter Lawrence may not bring. He could, but I have Jerry Tillery gone. Dexter Lawrence, run stopper. It's what they like. It's what they need. That's what I got. And it's a good pick here too, obviously.
Yeah, I went with Jeffrey Simmons. I saw people already commenting when we pulled up the screen, if he was is he worthy of a first round pick? But I think the Chargers can afford to do it. I think he's a great player. I think he was a top 10.
Maybe even top 5.
He's a top 10 lock for the draft. And ACLs aren't the same as they used to be. I know it's still a serious injury, but he could definitely recover from it. And you saw he never got hurt. He never missed a game in his career. It's just kind of a freak thing that happened in the offseason. So I'm not really worried about him being injury prone or anything like that. But yeah, you have a D tackle going there. I have a D tackle going there. I already have Lawrence going. I didn't have Tillery going. I could see Tillery being the pick here as well if Chargers want someone that could play right away for them. But I think they kind of take a gamble. I mean, the Chargers, not it's by their choice, but they've had guys on their team that they were willing to wait to see how they recover. Joey Bosa was hurt, had to wait for him to recover. They played well without him anyways. Hunter Henry too was hurt. They played without them. They played without him. They played well without him. So I think they can afford. They're a good team. They don't really have that many holes. So I think they can afford to take someone like this, and it's definitely high reward if he pans out. If he's perfectly fine, just plays how he's supposed to play, it's gonna be a huge boost to their team.
Okay, Sharky, our guy Sharky boys, waiting for the Chiefs. Hopefully he's not disappointed because we both have the same pick.
Oh, man.
But it's a very good pick.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
It's a very good pick.
I would take him on the Titans.
And it's next. We both have Garrett Bradbury going to the Chiefs. In my mind, I'm making a mock draft. I didn't make it yet, but I'm making a mock draft. Garrett Bradbury is not going to be there at pick 29. It happened that he was there at pick 29, and they lost Mitch Morse at center. Bradbury is going to be a center, a damn good center for a long time here. So they get that guy. He also could play guard at a very high level too. So this would be a great pick at pick 29. I know they need a corner. DeAndre Baker's still there, and that was the interesting thing I was talking about DeAndre Baker. We both have him going second round. We're only doing one round here, but it could be Baker. It's just I don't know if a bunch of teams really have corner on their high to. I guess the Chiefs do, but I think he can fall out because they'd rather have other positions here. But, Bradbury, I think a need and too good to pass at this point. They know that they're an offensive team. The Chiefs know they're an offensive team, so they got to make sure. They have to be damn sure they're going to score all those points. They got to keep their MVP quarterback protected and make sure everything's right with him. They got to make sure they're scoring all their points the best they can be. It's an offensive league today in the NFL. They're an offensive team. They know they're not going to win with defense no matter who they take. If they get the best defensive player in this draft, they know they're winning with offense. So make sure it's ready to go, and this is what they need here.
Yeah, they lost Mitch Morse. Think he fits in. Bradbury's going to play. He's going to be a starter for a very long time in the league. Like the way he plays. Um, and kind of like you said, they're like you would think they're gonna go all out defense, and like they definitely need to rebuild the defense. I mean, it wasn't the greatest as it was, but they're switching up their scheme as well. But it's not just gonna happen. Their defense is not gonna get fixed in one draft, and I think the way they're gonna compete is by scoring points. And they need a center, a new center since they lost theirs, and I think that's kind of what. And just based on he's still there too, he could easily go in the teens. The Vikings could take him, the Titans could take him, um, but since he's just here, I think it just fits what they need there.
Sharky boys got to go. Appreciate you. I'll see ya. Appreciate the memberships and the donations. Hopefully, you like your Chiefs pick.
Hopefully.
Packers. We actually both have. They have 2 picks, and we both gave them a receiver
Browns.
at this pick, and they're both Browns, but they're different Browns. I had A.J. Brown again. There's rumors that there could be 1 or 2 receivers going in the first round. I'm not buying it. I still had 4 going. It's just really hard not to put these guys in here. A.J. Brown can play in the slot, can play outside. Very, very dangerous after the catch. Can run routes, can get open. It's type of receiver that would be dominant on the Packers, especially down here at pick 30. It'd be a great pick. So I think just too good to pass. Really, what it is, they could use. They could. I didn't have them taking a lineman. I think they definitely can use another lineman. They could use an inside linebacker, another outside linebacker, even though they signed 2 in free agency. So another safety with Amos. So they definitely can use some other things. It's not necessarily, I'm not saying that the receiver is the next thing they need the most. It's just too good to pass here, and it can make that offense that much more dominant. Their defense could be good, but like I explained with the Chiefs, like the Packers, if they're going to win it all, it's going to be through Rodgers and that offense. Let's make it better with a guy like Brown who can do multiple different things. I'd be scared to play against him. That's that type of guy.
Yeah, and I have him getting Marquise Brown. I think that you already had him. You have him going to the Titans, so have him falling to 30. Like the injury could. We don't know really. The injury could put him down.
Apparently he's checking out okay.
Yeah,
and
rechecks. Like I was talking about, Corey Davis didn't do any. He had an ankle.
The Rams pick is not a depth pick. We'll get to it though.
Corey Davis didn't participate in the combine. Didn't have a pro day. Like he had an ankle injury that he was. Trying to get better, and that didn't hurt him at all. He went 5th pick, so Marquise Brown could easily go in the teens. He could fall 2nd round. We don't know, but I think it would just be too good to pass for the Packers here. I already had them addressing the defense with their 1st pick. Now I have them getting offense with this pick. And I mean, either A.J. Brown or Marquise Brown could be perfect for them. I'm taking like Randall Cobb's spot, and they're both projected to be almost probably better than Randall Cobb. You know, Randall Cobb had he's had a pretty good career so far. It definitely could be a kind of a nice security blanket for Rodgers this year. And I know LaFleur coming from the Rams likes to run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. So he's gonna need they're gonna need more receivers, even though like some Packers fans might not like it. They definitely need some more weapons out there.
Next pick is the Rams at pick 31. I got a little bit of a surprise, somewhat of a surprise here. I have Caleb McGarry from Washington. There's rumors that I don't have him as a 1st round guy. I think early 2nd round guys more like it, but we're pretty much there at pick 31 here. But there's rumors that he is definitely in the conversation in the 1st round, and that he can play tackle or guard, and I can see that. And I also have the other top linemen gone by here. The ones that are definitely better than McGarry, I have them gone at this point. You still have Reisner on the board and have him go there. But McGarry, I think he starts right away. I think they can definitely use another guard, and Whitworth doesn't have long. And maybe it's a depth for tackle, but he can slide into guard. He can play guard. They lost Saffold. I think. It's not a pick that I would be in love with, but again, this is the predict the pick, and from what I'm hearing, this is very realistic, especially if the other very good linemen are gone at this point, and I think they will be. But you still have one more before McGarry left, and that's Dalton Reisner, and that's who you gave him.
Yeah, I think he could fit in for Saffold. He's kind of like a similar player, like a nasty blocker, like go downfield, and we'll just find guys to bury. So I think that kind of fits in perfectly. The Rams definitely are like heavily reliant on their offensive line. Like that's how their run game gets going, and that sets up their play action pass, and that's what Jared Goff does best. Like if you ask Jared Goff to go and just drop back and throw a bunch of times during the game, like we saw in the Super Bowl, like they get down, like they can't really do it. So they need to establish that offensive line after losing one of their best offensive linemen. And then plus when Whitworth is going to retire, like we don't know when that is going to be, like Reisner could slide over and play tackle for them whenever he's ready to do so. So I think it's a perfect pick for them there.
Somebody asked about Chris Lindstrom. That's actually who I thought about here. It was McGarry or Lindstrom, but McGarry's getting more talk. It sounds like around the league that has a better chance of going first round. But Lindstrom, we know can play guard, so maybe that would be a safer option. And then somebody said about Jerry Tillery. I noticed I'm kind of looking through the chat here and there. Jerry Tillery, the Colts, too inconsistent. Yeah, that's people's problem. He was inconsistent, but then where he was inconsistent was kind of later in the year where it came out he had a torn labrum, which he played through. So that could be the reason. Maybe it's not, but I like that he brings the pass rush to his game. And then pick 32, the Patriots at this point. Pretty much everybody that I really, really like for the Patriots was gone at this point. So it's a tough situation here. They could go with a receiver between Akeem Butler, Deebo Samuel. I think they would rather wait to the second round. I think it's too early for Irv Smith. Wild card would be Jay Sternberger even. I think it's too early. It's possible. I think it's too early. So I think they take a chance on a guy that is a first-round talent, but he's hurt. So I think they're in a spot where they can take this risk, and I don't think it's that much of a risk, honestly. You kind of went over that already. We think it'd be okay, and they're going to be good this year with Simmons not playing. So I think they can afford to do this, and we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes. Is he a first-round player still now that he's hurt? But we'll see. So that's kind of what I had the Patriots going with, mainly because I think it'll be too much of a reach for some of the other guys. Could be Paris Campbell, too. Forgot to mention him.
I think what if Tillery and Simmons are here for the Patriots?
You already have Simmons going.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So
well,
I was about
doesn't
to say,
matter anyways.
Yeah, Tillery and Simmons are there. It's tough because, like I said, the Patriots could afford to wait, but their window is actually closing though.
Yeah.
So they kind of need it now.
Yeah.
So it could be Tillery.
Yeah, they lost. I mean, I see people saying like Tillery's just a pass rushing defensive lineman. He's not really that good for the run, but I mean, they lost Flowers. He's not going to play the same position. Like they need some type of source of pass rush though, and it's a great way to do it. I mean, you see like the Rams got so far doing is getting that pressure from the interior and pushing the pocket back. Then that kind of helps out your edge rushers. So Patriots they lost one of their edge rushers, so they're not going to have as good of a player there. They have Michael Bennett, who actually is pretty good, but it all starts kind of like the interior defensive lineman producing that pressure up the middle to help the edge guys. So I think that's perfect for what they need. They lost Malcolm Brown. I don't know if anyone picked him up. He's a free agent. Saints got him. Yeah. And I think they take him at the first round pick.
Yeah, from Texas.
Yeah. I mean, and the Patriots are always picking at the back of the.
Oh, I know all this.
I knew he's from Texas. I thought they took him in a first round. I just wasn't positive, but yeah, I think they could just that's kind of what the Patriots do. Like they use a guy, and then when their contract's up, they kind of just let him go, and then they find the replacement. I think that's kind of like the replacement.
And they win the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, and they're always picking at the end, and
best spot
just a cycle over and over and over again.
Who is the best player you did not have go in this first round mock?
I don't know. I gotta look at my
on the top of your head. You didn't have DeAndre Baker. We didn't have Akeem Butler. We didn't have Ja'Kai Polite might be mine, talent-wise. He didn't do too well, and I actually thought about him for the Rams because apparently he did well in the Rams meeting.
Someone's asking thoughts on Charles Omenihu.
Oh, I like Omenihu. Yeah, now we're going to open it up to questions. Any questions before we sign off? We don't have too long here, but and again, we're going to be live during the draft the first night, April 25th. We start a little bit earlier than through the draft, but Charles Omenihu I like. I got an early second-round grade on him. He's a pass rush D lineman. I think he fits best at 3-4 defensive end, which he played at Texas. He had 9.5 sacks, I believe, at that position. If he goes to a 4-3 team, most likely defensive tackle could be the 3 technique. But he could play 4-3 end. I think it's a possibility because he's a pass rusher and he can stop the run. So I do like Omenihu. If he went first round, I wouldn't think it would be a bad late first round. I don't think it would be a bad pick. We don't have Jonathan Abram going. My best player, Taylor Rapp. Yeah, Taylor Rapp is probably my best player. I think he's I have a first-round grade on him. I don't think. I have a first-round grade on him.
I'm trying to think who else is there.
Instinctive safety, very good. Abram, I feel more comfortable with Abram in the second. I think, we start to see all these rankings come out, and I'm still working on mine. I already know my rankings are, but I'm still working on making them in the videos and putting them out, all the graphics and stuff. But Abram, I view as a box player. All these people are putting out their rankings, and they have him high at safety. I don't really view him as a true safety. He can play safety, but he's mainly in the box. He does a good job covering tight ends, slot guys, and he can hit. He gets beat at times, he gets turned around at times, but yeah, he's definitely a good player. I just don't know if I have him going first round. I like Juan Thornhill a little better. Juan Thornhill can play safety, he can play corner, he can line up in the box, he can line up in the slot. Insanely athletic. So Thornhill could be a sneaky first round pick, even though I do have an early second round grade on him. How much do you guys like Kenan Saunders from Western Illinois? I like him. I think he goes somewhere between the late second, early third, but I would like to pick in the second round. So much upside. He can play D tackle. We've seen him lined up on the end spot. Guy that size
That's freaky.
Yeah, guy that size that can rush the passer. It's impressive.
I'll say AJ. I still have AJ Brown on the board. He's probably up there for me as one of the best available.
Is Bosa better than Bosa? I think Nick Bosa can be better than Joey Bosa.
Yeah, I mean. Joey's
hurt too.
Yeah, wasn't. He came off the injury, so he wasn't that impressive though. Coming back.
Joseph Noteboom can be the future left tackle, but remember he was third round pick, I believe. Yeah, third round pick from TCU. So we'll see. If you get a first round pick in there, then it can give him some competition.
The best is when we get to watch the draft, and then we actually get to talk about the real best available left. That's the best.
Yeah.
Always going into day two, figuring out.
It's always gonna be
you always like. Everyone comes out with day two mock drafts after the first day, and like they have all the best players going right in a row, but then it doesn't happen. Like people just want. I mean, everyone's boards are different. They want to just choose whoever they have high on their board, and it might not be what everyone else thinks, but that's like the best when it gets to that.
Somebody asked about Darnell Savage, safety from Maryland. I like Savage. Second round, mid to late second round, could go early third. Freak athlete, very rangy, can read plays, can get in the backfield too. Seen him whiff at times on those, but that's okay. But yeah, definitely a guy that's went up my board since the combine. Definitely helped himself with that. Hakeem Butler fit with Baltimore? I would say no, but then after thinking about Lamar Jackson does like, go on the run and kind of just launch the ball deep, so that could be the good option there. But what would be I'm not going to say he doesn't fit, but I think other guys definitely fit better if you get more of the guy that's shifty, speedy, which he's speedy, but not really the shifty part. The guy that can play in the slot, play outside, I think fits a little better. Dylan Mitchell out of Oregon. So, these receivers. Actually, I recorded it just a little bit ago, and I have the receiver video going out tomorrow. I kind of break down a lot of these receivers, so you'll probably hear me repeat myself right now. But Dylan Mitchell, I like him too. I think he could be, that's tough, 5th, 6th round probably. I think he's a good deep ball guy. He has the ability to be kind of a shifty guy, underneath guy too. Very good at tracking the deep ball down the sideline. The reason he can go a little later than maybe you would think is I heard some things about his work ethic. Apparently not so good. So we'll see about that. But he's
I want to know who I have the Saints taking in the second round. That was my first mock draft right there that I've made this year. And I do not have a second round, so I don't even know. I don't have.
People were asking us to continue off that in the second round next live stream.
Oh man, back to work.
Could be something. We have other live streams planned. We want to do like a full Q&A.
Who do you have the Saints taking?
The Saints. Who do I have in my latest mock draft? I'm going to continue off this event, or my next mock draft I do 3 rounds usually, but the Saints, some guys that I like. I mean, they can go multiple different positions. I know they got Jared Cook, but if somehow like Jay Sternberger's sitting there, they can go that route. Somehow if Julian Love's there, I like Julian Love for them, the Notre Dame corner. They could go with I like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for them too. I think people list him as a safety. He can play safety. He's more of a slot guy, which Love could be too. Eric McCoy from Texas A&M if they're looking for that offensive line spot. He's just one of those guys. I was about to answer a question. I already forgot.
Saw people commenting about Akeem Butler. I like Akeem Butler, but like, yeah, the drops are just so frustrating. Like, he makes some ridiculous catches and then he just drops some easy balls. Like, I don't know if that's just like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like concentration or, I mean, that's literally what it, I mean, he has just ridiculous like measurables. Like, his hands are giant. Like, it should be no excuse for him dropping the ball. It's just got to be, I don't know.
AB's better than MB.
I gotta look at the film close up and see how he's catching these, how he's getting his hands positioned, if he's flipping them wrong or what. But if he like figures that out, it's really not that hard to figure out how to catch the ball with those size hands. Like, he can catch the ball, you've seen him make ridiculous catches, but like, if he could just do it consistently, yeah, he could be something special.
Thoughts on Blake Cashman? I like Cashman. Could go late second. I'd say early third, most likely. Another pretty instinctive linebacker. Seems to always be in the backfield, can fly around. Yeah, mainly teams are looking for guys that are just crazy good at covering for the linebacker spot, which he can. But that's why I guess he's more down the third round. Jalen Jelks from Oregon. I think he's an upside guy. For some reason these Oregon guys, they're just like, they don't play as good as you would think they would, and then you see them like working out, and you see them at these college all-star games, and they look pretty darn good. Like, what is Oregon doing over there? So I think Jelks has a lot of upside with the NFL program. I think he could be a good pass rusher. I would prefer 3-4 team. I actually like Justin Hounds a little better. Freak athlete, forced a lot of fumbles. Those guys that force fumbles, seems like they keep forcing fumbles. So I like Hounds a little better. I think Hounds could be a 5th-round pick. I think Jelks can be a 6th-round pick. And I just realized now you said seems late 2nd, early 3rd to you. Yeah, it's a little high. I think because the production really wasn't there, and I just think there's gonna be a gap on the pass rushers. We're gonna see somewhere they'll stop in the 2nd round, and then there'll be a pretty good gap. We won't see a lot come off the board, so I think that'll push him back a little bit.
You also could see teams reaching for him.
Yeah, I thought 5th or 6th for him. I like Hollins a little better, even though Jelks had more production. What else we got?
Someone's saying Paris Campbell. Like, you hear like some rumors saying he could go 1st round even. Like, some people are saying there's not going to be many receivers taken in the 1st round. Some people are talking about all these different receivers, Akeem Butler, the ones we already had going. I didn't even have A.J. Brown going in the 1st round. I could see him going 1st round, but like, yeah, the NFL is a copycat league, and like, people are looking for that next Tyreek Hill, since he was the one who kind of blew up this year with Mahomes. And like, I'm not saying Paris Campbell is Tyreek Hill, but like, just similar speed, like can run like the same routes as him. As soon as he gets the ball in his hands, he's a game changer. He could do multiple different things. So like, you could see like him going. I don't know if someone could surprise us to take him late 1st round, but he definitely should go probably 2nd round.
Raquel Armstead, Joe Jackson, check them out. Raquel Armstead, I'm not a huge fan of. He has speed, can hit the hole, but he runs into a lot of tackles. Joe Jackson, I like. Early 3rd, could go late 2nd as well. Yeah. Any more? I don't want to miss any questions, but we're going to have to sign off here soon. Yeah. Any last questions? Do you guys think the Bears will move up to pick someone? Yeah, I was thinking about that recently because they do have an insane amount of picks next year. So then they can use those and move up this year. If they were to do so, maybe to secure a guy like Darrell Henderson, who I think could be making his way into the 2nd round at running back. If they want a pass rusher, maybe to secure a guy like couple spots to secure a guy like Chase Winovich. Somebody like that, they definitely can use a running back, could use a pass rusher. They don't really absolutely have to have really anything, but they definitely can use another running back, a pass rusher. But I can see them moving up. Yeah, I can see them moving up. Tight end's a position where I think they go big or go home. They have a couple tight ends that can play. Burton's more of that slot guy. He was, it was disappointing to see him be left out of games for, I guess it's a mystery what reason, but I heard the anxiety thing, that's questionable. But so they could go with a true tight end, every down tight end in there if he's good enough to play right now and help them win. Do you think Pats can move up to Seattle pick? I think the Pats can move up, yeah, to try to secure a guy like maybe if Hawkinson starts to drop, they can move up so they don't have to move up too far. They can try to get him. If Fant, they can move up a little bit for a guy like Fant because it's going to be a reach if they take Irv Smith or Sternberger in that first-round pick, which I guess is a wild card, but it could happen.
So who had someone on NFL.com had Titans getting Irv Smith with the 19th pick. I think
that's early.
Would not be happy.
Any chance to patch straight into the 2020 and try to get in on an amazing QB class? I can see that too.
That reminds me. Patriots, if I was the Patriots, I would take, with the 32nd pick, I would take Ryan Finley with the 32nd pick.
Yeah, that's just you.
I like Ryan Finley a lot. And I think Brady doesn't have that many years left. I think he can learn a little bit more behind Brady, but I think I was going back and watching some Kelvin Harmon tape, and I was just like, geez, Ryan Finley's just putting balls in the tightest coverage, and they're just perfect. I was like, geez, this guy's ridiculous right now. But I know sometimes he doesn't make the best decisions, but he's terrible. So I say he's terrible.
Ryan Finley's terrible, sorry.
No, I like him a lot. I don't know. He's my fourth quarterback.
He's my fifth quarterback.
Fourth quarterback in the draft.
Yeah. Did I finish answering all the games? Yeah, we think the Patriots could, I guess, set themselves up for maybe next year possibly. Justin Herbert, that could be a Patriots guy. All right, I think we're gonna wrap things up. Thanks for joining. We got more. Oh, like I said, people are saying they want us to finish this, do a second round mock draft. That's a possibility. We got other videos to get to, but we have other live streams planned before because we're gonna be live during the draft. But another stuff we wanted to do, other live streams we wanted to do. I want to do like a few full Q&A close to the draft, so we can try to get to as many questions as we can because we got to cut the questions short here in a second. But another one, which isn't guaranteed right now, but we want to do a mock draft where like we made picks for every team, but instead we're going to try to get the other guys on the show too because we have two other guys part of the channel, and we're going to each take teams, and we're basically going to be that team, and we're going to make the selections for those teams. So we take turns actually, so everyone has their own team. So I think that'll be a lot of fun if we do something like that. And of course we'll be live during the draft. Plenty more to come. Yeah, any last questions? What round for David Sills? I'm not a huge David Sills fan. I'll break that all down in the receiver rankings tomorrow. Sills, I think, will be, if he's drafted, I think he'll be used as like a red zone guy, if used at all. I think he's maybe somebody I think he's a 7th round pick. That's just me. I know some people say, I've seen some people like him in the mid rounds. I mean, most likely maybe he'll go 5 or 6, but I'm not a huge fan. Yeah. I think Gary Jennings is a little better prospect. Gary Jennings he's going to go in the mid rounds. There's so many receivers, so I think guys like that get pushed down a little bit, so maybe around 5. Thoughts on Paris Campbell? Going to break it down, the receiver rankings tomorrow. I break down pretty much every notable receiver. I rank 50 of them exactly in the receiver rankings tomorrow in the video.
Why Harry over A.J. Brown with Baltimore? Because Harry's wide receiver 1.
Either one would be good, though.
Yeah.
But Paris Campbell, you would like to see more routes, but I think he can run the routes. It's not going to be insanely good footwork, but he has the quickness and speed to get open, and he's a weapon. In today's NFL, he's going to be used in any way. So he could go late 1. I'm more comfortable in 2 just because the route tree, but I'm not super worried about that. Yeah, Harry over Brown. I like Harry's my number 1. I do really like A.J. Brown, but yeah, either one would work for the Ravens. Ravens need, I don't care if you slot or outside, Ravens need multiple receivers. Williams greater than Josh Jacobs? Which Williams?
Yeah. Travion?
Travion or Dexter?
So someone said Hawk to the Titans if he falls. I think definitely could be a possibility.
Yeah.
You won't get past the Vikings.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'll say the very, very latest probably the Titans. Because he does help with the blocking, too. Like, that's crazy. Just makes defenses confused, too. It's just hard to game plan against that. But Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Again, more Q&As coming. If you have our Twitter, it's in the description somewhere. It's Goat House NFL. I never deny anybody some questions as long as they're reasonable here. So if you want to ask questions on there, feel free to. We got polls on there too. We're gonna have updates, always talking on there. We're gonna have a Q&A live stream coming up next week or at some point before the draft. We got hopefully more than one more live stream going. Hopefully a few. That'll be the best possible scenario there. But we always got videos, obviously. Going to get through the position rankings, and then final mock drafts, trade scenarios, and then latest rumors right when we're going into the draft. Maybe some bold predictions. Oh, I got to do my guys video. I got my guys of the drafts.
Someone said he's gonna love watching Debo. I love Debo too. Forgot about.
And I have Tyree Jackson getting drafted. Yeah, I think he goes. I view him more as a 5th round guy, but I think he can go 4th round just because teams are gonna like the upside. So yeah, I definitely have Tyree Jackson getting drafted. Every time I'm about to sign off, I see a good question and I just start to answer it. But yeah, again, more of these coming, more Q&As coming. Go to our Twitter if you want to ask more questions. But yeah, that's going to do it. Oh, yeah, and we got a subscriber goal of 20K. And right behind Pete here, I'll just do that. There's our Twitter right there. But then 20K is a subscriber goal. Support's been great. Really appreciate it. Like button, notification button would be key, too. That notification button's key. When sometimes we'll go live. We'll decide to go live. Like, all of a sudden, should we go live? We have the time to do it. Sometimes that happens. So, yeah, you want to turn the notifications on.
But yeah, for that Justin Miller over here.
Justin Miller, he's a little late to the party. Longtime fan. And I'll put the new memberships in the chat once again. We appreciate anybody that donated or joined the memberships. With the membership, you get badges, emojis, and you get new ones the longer you're a member. And you also get exclusive members-only video, one at least each month. We used to do skits. We're kind of going to bring those back for members, possibly. It won't always be a skit. Sometimes we can make a video with Q&As, with questions just from the members. And then, or we can have, any type of bloopers, mess-up videos, behind-the-scenes stuff, anything like that. So that's what the membership's for, just extra content. Since we've grown so much, we're able to do those memberships now. So we really appreciate everyone. But yeah, that's going to do it for this live stream. We'll be back with more. Don't worry. But yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. Goodbye.
See ya.